I've got it on the phone now. The SD card is not full, but it's saying it's full. Okay, we're good. We're back on. So you missed the best part because my wife actually took over. But that's fine. And so, you want to talk about your books?
Yeah, so basically the encouraging thing is that anything that you love that you know is really naughty, there's always a healthy version of it. Because like back in the early days of when I first made health changes to my, kind of kitchen, like recipes and things, I would always find, I'd always think well, what did I really enjoy eating before, and how can I make that, how can I veganize it, how can I make it healthy? And so just by searching out different ingredients, it's just really simple. Like instead of using cow's milk, which is designed for baby cows to grow into really large, strong animals, not for humans, you can use all kinds of plant milks, nut milks, like almond milk, cashew milk. I like to make banana milk, actually. I think that to me is so yummy. All you do is put a banana in the blender with some water and a little stevia if you want extra sweetening. That if you've got a really nice ripe banana, it doesn't really need a whole lot more sweetening. And then, so what recipe specifically do you want me to talk about?
Oh, just some of your hold up your books.
So this is a great book. This is kind of, if you want to get a little bit more fancy, you've got a bit more time to sort of mess around. This has there's even this is actually raw vegan recipes, and there's even what does that look like? Traditional breakfast.
Yeah, bacon and eggs.
But it's all vegan and it's all raw.
Oh.
It's just all made with plants. I'm not going to fuss around with a recipe like that every morning for breakfast because it'll take a while. But there's even recipes in here for SpaghettiOs, which is just tomatoes, dates and whatnot, zucchini. Oh, this one is hilarious. This is more like a for fun, like Pop-Tarts, and it's made with coconut. Like the outside's made with coconut, and there's coconut cream on top, and then it's got little kind of dehydrated pineapple and glasses on. Raspberries and goji berries on the top, and I think raspberry kind of blended in the middle. So it's just kind of, if you want to have fun with that. But I don't really use that so much, except for there's some really good, this spicy Thai cabbage recipe. I do use that recipe a lot. And then this has been a staple of mine. You can tell it's got tape on the spine. I've used this many years. Christina Perillo, Cooking the Whole Foods Way, and it's just got 500 recipes. I still haven't made it through all the recipes, but I've got my kind of favorite go-tos for that. And then these two we actually went and visited in Ireland. They're called the Happy Pair. They're identical twins. They live in Greystones, just south of Dublin, about an hour south of Dublin. So Stephen and David Flynn, and they have a YouTube channel called The Happy Pair, and they have got all kinds of recipes. If you just want to do all you've got time for is a 5-minute recipe, they've got a gajillion videos of easy, healthy, vegan 5-minute recipes that you can just put together in the blink of an eye. So those are kind of some of my go-tos. But I love my Instant Pot too. I have an Instant Pot, and I, make all kinds of magic with that.
Can I bring it over and have you do a little cookbook? Yep. So this is for you bachelors out there, especially. This is the most amazing.
Busy moms.
I have not tried it. I've heard about it though.
Absolutely. I have
Is it like a pressure cooker?
Yeah, it is a pressure cooker. So it's got 7 different safety features. It was the top selling product on Amazon for
in North America, Canada, and the United States for 3 years in a row.
Yeah. So what I'll sometimes do is I'll soak some beans overnight, and then first thing in the morning when I'm emptying the dishwasher, I'll put the I do this first, and then I empty the dishwasher while it's cooking. But I put the beans in here after they've soaked overnight. Just cover them slightly with water.
This comes out, so you can...
Yeah, so you can clean it. It's easy to clean. This is a trivet if you're going to do vegetables steamed. But so I'll put the beans in there, slightly cover them with water. I'll put a 1-inch square of kelp in there to tenderize the beans and to add minerals to the beans, and it sort of reduces gas and whatnot, and tenderizes them. And then just put that in here. Put the lid on. Makes this cute little noise that, you know, if I haven't plugged it in before I put the lid on, I take it all off because I love hearing the little noise. I just really like that. And then you push the bean button, and then you just walk away. Make sure the valve's on.
So, just to give you an idea how easy this is, you get on your phone, you do brown rice Instant Pot, and 15 videos will come up. You pick one, and you follow the directions. And you just hit pause, go to this cupboard, get the rice, get the water, put it all in there, and hit 2 buttons, and you're done. And by the time it would take you to get, Postmates to deliver your food, you can have something really good. And they tell you how to do all the accessories like the garlic or the onion, or if you want to make Cajun something. And they have all these recipes right on YouTube. And so, and what you'll find is that with the ingredients, if we're all sort of glued to these foods, pardon the pun, that because the bad foods are very glue-like. They just sort of stick to you and have a very slow transit time. But we're all glued to these foods that we grew up with that maybe aren't so healthy. And so, but it's really about fat, oil, and sugar. It's getting the combinations and the flavors of the fat, oil, and sugar. And you can make anything healthy taste good, or you can make anything unhealthy taste good too. But replacing these, manipulating the fat, oil, and the sugar, and then the main ingredient, you can do amazing things and make healthy food taste like unhealthy food, just as good or even better. And the great thing about it is the kids will eat it. If it tastes good and it has that nutrition, the kids are really going to want it. There's a transition time, but they'll really want it. And so this has been an amazing thing. And because it's a pressure cooker, all those smells don't escape. When all those smells escape, that's your flavor leaving. So you've already had it before you've even eaten it, because all the smells have escaped, all the flavors are gone. But by pressure cooking, it's cooking really fast. So that means if you're on a schedule, you're trying to get out the door to do something that night, you just come home, hit the start button, if you put it in there the morning before, and then, you've got your food, and by the time you take off your suit and tie or whatever and get back down and you're ready for dinner, it's all done. And you can have your friends over, because, they'll start coming over. You'll be a really popular guy with this. Or a couple, or mom, and, you'll be super mom. And so, that it's really quick, and it's really, you can make some really healthy things in it.
You can also, it's got like a gajillion buttons here, but you can also saute stuff in it. So if you're making a soup, for example, you can just chop up the onion, saute the onion for a while, add other vegetables and spices, add water.
Oh, so it's like a one pot.
Yeah.
Yeah. You could this can almost replace your stove and oven and microwave. So you could just get a kitchen with no appliance, no stainless steel appliances.
Well, there's a couple on YouTube that are actually truckers, and this is their kitchen in the truck. What do you call it? A cabin or something?
In the cabin in the back, yeah.
That's what they use.
So
it looks like a cast iron inside there.
Yeah.
Is that what that is?
Yeah, it's pretty heavy duty. Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, this is very safe too. It's not like the other pressure cookers that shoot all over the kitchen. We had a couple blow on us and could have put someone's eye out, but this got a lot of safety features, and so I wanted to bring that over. And so so that's the healthy part of the holiday thing. And now we're going to talk about the hopeful part, okay? And so a lot of the emotions around, it's an emotional holiday, There's all these expectations, there's all these relatives, there's all these people that are, bossy, and people that are like docile, getting bossed around by the boss. There's all these family dynamics. And so, some of the things that, to keep in mind is just to always come with just a really positive attitude, come to the parties, a positive attitude, and really with the idea of wanting to give. Have a present, have a compliment, and just have something positive to say, and really try to keep it positive. And that's something families, some families are really good at this. And like in the South, they're really good at this. The families up in the Northeast, where I'm from, in Boston, weren't as good at this. Some were, but they weren't as good. It was always, the criticisms, and they were, it was just a lot more rough, And Boston people are wonderful, and I love the people up in Boston, but it was a cultural thing. In the South, it's a lot more positive, a lot more uplifting, a lot more, I want to encourage you, and that kind of thing. And so that's what I'll say about that. And then, did you have anything you wanted to add on that point, hon?
Well, another good reason to be encouraging, uplifting, and positive at these family events is because family events, especially if you've lost a loved one that year, it can be just a really, really hard time. So, just sort of, being aware of that and
Being sensitive. Yeah.
being sensitive, and also if there's some people that are kind of not going to be doing anything, they're just going to be by themselves for Thanksgiving. We usually like to put the word out to, if there's students in town that aren't going to be going home to their family or something, try to get them to come and meet with you, kind of thing.
Yeah. And then I wanted to talk about something people are really interested in, and that's losing weight. Generally over the holidays, people are putting weight on, and it's frustrating. And it's aggravating because it just keeps coming back and coming back and coming back. So I'm going to give you a couple tools to help with the weight. And the first one is intermittent fasting. And that's like just skipping a meal. So like my dad today, we picked him up at his place, and he's going to miss his lunch. They serve lunch where he's at. And so he's going to skip a meal. And like for me, I skip meals, and I eat do something called intermittent fasting, which is I eat in a window. And so, different people have different windows, and some people have short windows, some people have long windows, but the beauty of this is it gives your body a chance to take out the trash. Okay, what do I mean by that? You're putting stuff in your body, food in your body, and that all has to be processed. And that takes a lot of energy. Like 40% of your energy is digesting food. The stuff's hard to break down. You got to turn this into, hi, how are you? My name is Paul energy, and it's hard. It takes a lot of heavy lifting from your body, but by having a window when you eat and a window when you don't eat, you do a lot in taking out the trash. That means that you're less likely to get a disease because your body's really cleaned out. So what I do for many hours a day is I just drink water. And what I've found is I don't miss the food. That my body's really just telling me I'm thirsty. And then when I do eat, I'm hungry. And I know I'm hungry because I'll eat anything. And so I'll go after those greens. And we're going to go out in the garden here in a little while. And I'll show you just how delicious these greens look. And I'll be hungry and I'll pile in the greens. I'll eat like 2 big salad bowls of greens. And then that tells my body, hey, everything's going to be okay. You're getting all the vitamins and nutrients and minerals that you need, and you're not going to be hungry. And so then when I go to eat my other foods, it's like I've had I'm not that hungry. But it takes a while to get this sort of pattern going. And then when I'm done eating, I start again with the water, and that signals my body to understand that the food's over, and now we're going to clean out phase. So like, hey boys, hey, let's call in the trash men here. We've got to take out the trash now. And first we had like crews bringing the groceries in. Now we have them taking the trash out. Without going into too much detail on that, so your body's assimilating or it's eliminating, and so your body shifts, and it's a very important shift. But when I have that water, my body knows, all right, we're flushing out the system, and we're eliminating. And so that's a really great tool. Did you want to say anything about that? Okay, then another thing, another really great tool here is a website or an app called Chronometer, which is this, you put in all your food that you eat. And I know you get a little scale, they're $11 on Amazon. You weigh your food, and you put it on there, and you enter it in. And, it gets pretty quick after a while. But it's amazing. I'm a real numbers guy, like I have an accounting background, a finance background. So I was really into the numbers, and what I noticed, I said, like all my food, and I was like, I didn't get much out of that. And then I go eat one carrot, and it's like, wow, look at that, you know, and I really get a zing out of the, sorry, my friend here is zing. I really get a rise out of the watching the bar graphs and the pie charts on the app all turn these pretty colors, and that really motivated me. You know, that's hard. The hard thing here, right? We got to face it. It's motivation and inspiration. We're just not motivated and not inspired. I know I wasn't, but this would really do it for me. And you know, we're not all the same, and you know, but that really helped me. So I do that for a week or a couple of months, and I just watch the weight go down because the quality's going up, and so the quantity can come down. And just to talk about some of the quality things I eat, I do a lot. I like to garden. I like to grow things. So I do these sprouts. It's a mason jar with a screen on top, and I just sprout lentils and beans and chickpeas and all sorts of things. And you know, this will taste great with a little, you know, salt, oil, and sugar on it. You know, it could be sugar in the form of a fruit. It could be salt in the form of a really high quality probiotic soy sauce like namashoyu. It could be sea vegetables, yeah, like dulse, and then the oils can be something like out of coconut, like coconut oils or avocado. Yeah, so you can make amazing tasting food, that really high quality food, and it's, you know, I don't eat a lot at restaurants. Saves tons of money. That's not the concern. And then my wife, she makes me these, I call it slaw, but she just takes a bunch of vegetables, runs it through the food processor. I put it in mason jars, and she helps me with that, and so I get all my vegetables that way. The chewing takes a long time. Sometimes it's just nice not to, you know, sit there for an hour and chew. Sometimes I have a tight schedule, so this is a lot quicker, and so that works really well. And then I have a water distiller. You can get on Amazon and buy a water distiller and have pure, clean water. So the water I'm drinking, I know, is just really awesome water. And so yeah, those are some tools on weight loss. I'll just review them. There's intermittent fasting and chronometer. And the other one is exercise and movement. But I don't really do that unless I feel like it. But when the quality of the food rises, all of a sudden you get tons of energy, and it's like, hey, would you stop that guy? He's got too much energy. Like, I can't drink caffeine anymore because I'll be awake for 4 days because my body's so cleaned out that when I wake up, I just get going on my exercise. I work out because I have so much energy, and I'm 56, and most of the guys my age are like 10 cups of coffee just to get it moving, and that's how I used to be. But when you clean out your body, you just get this energy, and that's when we should move and exercise, and that'll become very natural. You know, no one tells 2-year-olds to go exercise. You know, they're flying around. It's because they're healthy. They're born healthy. They've robbed their mother of all those nutrients, and they're healthy. And so, did you have anything there, hon? Okay. So the last thing I'll talk about is the garden. With all this energy that I get from the food, I'm able to grow really great things like these butternut squash. And I planted the cucumbers right near the butternut squash, and what happens is you get butternut / cucumber because they pollinate each other. So we got this new kind of butternut squash, which is really a butternut cucumber, but they're really good. And so I eat a lot of these. And then
it's nothing like a cucumber. I mean, it's just a different shape.
Yeah, and this is not from my garden, but I buy these at on Nolensville Road at K&S or Patel's. And these are young Thai coconuts, and these are loaded with fat. I mean, like 1,000 calories, and it's got this like stuff in there, this water that's like so much better than Gatorade. It's just off the charts. And that comes from a garden. And then we grow all these fruits. Like these are, and I'll pass these around. These are persimmons, and these are che fruit or Chinese mulberry, and these are little figs. They grow here in Tennessee, and these are grow, you know, in a lot of northern climates. So persimmons, mulberries, and figs, and you can pass them around. Feel free to eat one. And so what I do, and then I have a friend who came to this last meeting, one of the last meetings we had. his name was Scott, and he showed me how to grow sweet potatoes. And so I took these sweet potatoes I got at Whole Foods. I put them out in some piles of leaves and some piles of wood chips. And I had tons of sweet potatoes. They grew like weeds. They were unbelievable. And so we have tons of sweet potatoes in the basement. They're sort of like, down there, and then we'll have them all winter. But that's why we want to build community around healthy things. That's why we have like these neighborhood meetings, because Scott showed me that, and I maybe showed Scott one or two other things. But you take tools and you take them on one at a time. I got tons more of those in the fridge. Just get up and go to the fridge thing if you want some more. And we'll go out and get some more off the trees. But it's really important to build community around, and the garden sort of does that, because now most people don't have the energy for a garden, but when you start eating really good food, you get tons of energy, and you don't want to sit in front of the computer working all the time making money. You want to get out there and make friends and make relationships and make other good food so you can make other good friends. Because our life doesn't consist of the abundance of our possessions. It consists of our friendships and our relationships, and that's really what determines the richness of our lives.
Well, gardening doesn't have to take up a lot of energy. Because look at Paul Gauchi. Paul Gauchi's, phenomenal. Have you ever heard of Paul Gauchi?
Yeah, great guy.
Amazing man. He was injured in the Vietnam War, and so by the Agent Orange. So he can barely walk. I mean, when you look at him on the videos, he's kind of like hobbling along with his hoe, but his garden is just off the charts incredible. And he has people come to his garden like every week or whatever.
Yeah.
And he does these garden tours.
That's sort of where I got the idea for doing this.
Yeah. So he's so inspiring, and proof that really the garden just takes care of itself.
Yeah. And so we're going to do a video out there just following this, but I garden by holidays, and I'll explain this. So April 15th is the last frost in Tennessee, Nashville, and that's when I plant all the row crops, like the tomatoes, the okras, the peppers, the husk cherries, and the huckleberries, and the sweet potatoes, and the herbs. And then if you file an extension on your taxes, you get knocked back to August 15th. And that's when I plant the the fall garden. And that's things like greens and carrots, the things that can handle the frost, okay? And then October 31st, that's the day to plant trees. Like the month of November, you want to plant your fruit trees, your fig trees, your persimmons, your mulberries, pawpaw, yep. And so that started just now. And you got the whole month of really up until Christmas. And so, but that's a great thing for families to do when they get together for Thanksgiving. Hey, instead of sitting, going comatose on pie and cake, let's get a shovel and go out in the garden and plant a couple trees. Hey, how about that for a family tradition? Because, these holidays are all about traditions, right? And then at Christmas time, that's the time to sheet mulch. That's the time you put out the layers of wood chips and leaves that you collected from the raking, and you sheet mulch your garden. That does amazing things, and we'll show you more about that outside. And then on Valentine's Day, that's the time to get your honey something, but also to plant the spring garden. And that's in this fall, and the spring gardens are the best gardens in Tennessee, because we have long growing periods in the fall and the spring, and it's not really, really hot, and there aren't a lot of weeds. And you don't have to water or weed. Now that's really what sort of makes it a real downer in the summer, is all the weeding and watering. But you're doing that in December when you're putting out that mulch. That keeps the moisture in and keeps the weeds down. So you can take care of that in December. But the fall and the spring gardens are really great gardens. That's where I get most of my food with hardly any work at all. And so we're having freebies today at the garden. If we'll pass out some bags to our guests here if you want some greens. We got tons of greens out there. And we've got seeds, so take some seed packets. We have we have three kinds of basil. We have lemon basil, holy basil, which is really good for teas, and then the Genovese basil. So if and we've got these. Melanie made these envelopes with the old seed catalogs that come in. And they keep sending them over and over again, and we put little labels on them. So take some of these and a pen. We'll have it out there. and you can get some greens, but also get some seeds for next spring. So, and then of course you can always grow all winter long, even if you don't have a yard, with what I call the kitchen garden, which is incorrect use of the English term. But you can grow food. This is growing food. These lentils, in 24 hours you can have food. 48 hours you can have a huge sprout, and you can grow all sorts of things.
Talk about how you travel with that.
Yeah, so I have little bags. The bags are right behind you, hon. I'm showing over the other shoulder. When I travel, I was in Europe, and I just brought 2 of these bags, and I would sprout my food in the bags, and it's amazing. You can just take them through airports. It's amazing what you can do, so yeah. So if I'll open it up for any questions, but that's all I have. Is there any questions? And then we'll go out to the garden if anyone wants
What
to
kind
do
of trees, fruit trees, are good to grow in Tennessee?
Okay, yeah. There's different difficulty levels. You know, there's the ones that, you know, only the real, you know, seasoned horticulturalists can grow, and then there are the surefire ones. And so I've done really well with the fruits you see here. Pawpaw, which is an unbelievable tasting fruit. Persimmon grows wild, loves it here. And then these cherry fruits are a really good one. And then figs. Figs have to be mulched and cut back in the winter because they're really a southern tree. They like a warmer climate, but they do really well here. And
Had you tasted the persimmon before?
Which one's the persimmon? Is that
Yeah,
the
that
persimmon? No, I
Our
haven't.
neighbors gave us a bunch.
Is that what that was?
Yeah, the
Yeah.
orange ones.
I
yeah,
didn't
we're
Had you
picking.
tasted it before, Caleb?
I have, yeah.
Yeah,
They,
you
they
like
look
it?
like tomatoes.
Some days I like it, some days I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, the tree, you know, and all these. There's a bit of a learning curve on persimmons. Like my father-in-law came to Tennessee and he had one, and it made his whole mouth go numb because he ate an unripe one. They have to be ripe because they're very astringent when they're not ripe, but they're very, very delicious when they're picked ripe. And I'm getting a pound or 2 of these a day from a tree that's at my father's place, and doing really well with that. And I grow them and I graft them, but I've not done well with apples, and I'm still working on the peaches and the pears. It just hasn't gone that well, you know. So
I've seen cherry.
cherry, I've got some cherries that I'm doing okay with. My cherry trees are still alive, but you know, I'm not a real experienced grower. But the thing about growing trees is you just got to do it and learn as you go. I think that's, if I could tell you anything, the best time to plant a tree is now. And November's the month for doing it. And I get stuff from Willis Orchards, willisorchards.com, Hidden Springs Nurseries in Cookeville. Andy Black out there, Hector Black, went to Harvard as a horticulturalist and a great humanitarian. And he has a business there that his daughter runs, and they have a lot of this stuff down. I like really sweet fruits. I don't like things that are tart. I'm doing goji berries, but they haven't. I don't know how to get them to be sweet. I think I have to let them ripen a little longer. So yeah, the great question, Zing. Is there any other questions out there?
What about like berry bushes? Do you grow those?
Berry bushes, yes.
When is good time to plant /
Yeah, this is a good time to grow berries. The problem I've had with berries is a deer eater. So I have to put a wire cage around them, which isn't that hard to do, but we've done really well with blackberries. Melanie would like to try some raspberries, so we might put some in if we can get motivated on that. But the birds, you might put a net over them. But I have I've done really well with berries. Yeah, mulberries as well. Yeah, and the trees are really easy to grow. Yeah, they're really easy to. You just take the cuttings, put them in the soil, and pretty much the mulberries will grow. Yeah, they're really easy to grow. Yeah, great question. Yeah, berries are excellent. Yeah. Any other questions? Daddy, you have a question? No? Okay. All right. Well, thanks for watching the video. We'll stop it there.